Okay, so in this video we're going to show you some of the micro components of the iPhone 5C. As you can see here, that screen's not working very well, right? I don't think anyone will want a screen like that. I wouldn't either. So let's go ahead and disassemble it. We're going to use a pentalobe screw. One of the screws are already missing. Okay. Alrighty. Now we're going to lift it up, and I'm just going to show you some of the micro components of this phone. Okay. So you just got to be really careful too, because this thing has a lot of glass shards. Okay. Bam. Alrighty. So let's just go over some of the micro components here. This is the shell that covers the flex cables connecting the screen to the logic board or motherboard. As you can see here, we have 4 screws, and these screws right here, these 3 screws are magnetic. However, this one isn't, so we're gonna have to be a little bit more aware of that as we replace it. This is how I like to replace it. That way I don't have to use any tweezers or anything. After that, we're going to remove the screen assembly, and we have 3 flex cables. This one is, if you look carefully here, we have the speaker assembly right here. Okay, and it's connected with 2 pads right here. It has the microphone for the loudspeaker, right? So there's the microphone. So there's 2 microphones. There's one microphone here, and there's another microphone down here. And this is for the regular microphone when you're talking, and this is for the loudspeaker microphone when you have the phone on loudspeaker. It also has the front camera right here, the front camera, and also the proximity sensor right here. All 3 of those are connected with this one piece right here. Okay, and then we have the LCD flex, which is responsible for the display, and then we also have the digitizer, which is responsible for the touch. In addition to that, we also have the home button flex, which also connects with 2 pads. These 2 pads must be touching the logic board, or at least the charging dock right here, which connects to the logic board through this flex, and that is responsible for the home button flex. Okay, so that's the home button right there, obviously. Okay, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper and show you some more micro parts. We're going to remove this shell right here, which which covers the battery flex and also the charging dock flex. Okay, so we're going to remove the battery flex right here, and the battery comes off without too much effort. Sometimes there's a lot more adhesive, as you can see, so you might need to heat it, but then at the same time you somehow have to be careful enough not to overheat the motherboard. So just a lot of care, just common sense too, I guess. We're going to disconnect the charging dock right here. There's also an antenna connected. If you've been watching our disassembly videos, we do have a full disassembly guide. So if you haven't, go back and watch it. If you have, then obviously I don't need to do too much of a close-up here, because you already know how to disassemble it. Once again, this section is simply to identify some of the micro parts. Okay, so this entire bottom section right here is the charging dock. If you notice, this area is a little bit magnetic. Can you see that? It's magnetic right here, and this whole dock is responsible for many things. It's responsible for the head jack. So if that malfunctions, you know that this component is responsible for that. There's also the home button. I like to call these the receivers. There's different names, but this is what the home button flex cable two metal pads need to be touching in order to communicate. And as we'll learn later in our theory section, there are things called conductors and semiconductors. We'll explain why they're designed that way, and how these two prongs can communicate with the two metal pads of the home button, and respond to you pushing the home button as well. Okay, so that right here is the back camera, which is connected to this flex right here, as you can see. I'm going to remove that for you so you can see it. So if this ever goes wrong, we know that we need to replace, if the back camera stops working, then it could be an issue with the flex cable, and with the back camera it could be a bad connection. So just test all of those. Once again, that's the back camera, so if you get any issues with your iPhone, then you know that you probably need to change the back camera. And the worst case scenario is if these pads right here that receive the flex cables, if those ever get damaged, then you have to desolder them with either with a hot air gun, or you can use low melting point solder and cover the entire board. Other than here, you're going to need some helping hands with a magnifying glass, and you can actually remove and replace these pads right here as well. I haven't made a video myself. I've done it many times, I just haven't made a video of how to replace these pads, but I've seen a couple on YouTube and on other public videos that seem to get the point across. So I figured there's no real necessary point in me making one for myself when it's just going to be the exact same video. So I'm going to link the video as to in our micro soldering section of how to replace these as well. And once again, I'm letting you know ahead of time, they're not my personal videos. I did not make those videos, but I'm going to link them because I feel that they really do a good job getting the points across. Okay, here you also have the vibrator right here on this top left. All of these can be removed. Here, I'll go ahead and just completely, well, at least disassemble most of it for you while you have me. So there we go, that's the vibrator right here. The vibrator can be removed. Okay, you just gotta be careful with it. Okay, and it looks like it's also attached here on the top left as well. So if someone's phone's vibrator just stops working for whatever reason, and once again, assuming that there's nothing wrong with the software, then you know that's what needs to be replaced. Okay. And it looks like this thing as well is connected with two metal pads and two prongs on the vibrator. And this is an issue that can go wrong as well. When the prongs are pushed down too hard, that they don't have enough strength or flexibility to connect to the metal pad, so you can just stretch them back out like this. And that's an issue that's very common as well. Okay. So the motherboard can also be removed. I'm trying to think what else. The power button is connected with a flex that connects to this pad right here. That is also, by the way, connected to the volume buttons on the side right here, and it also connects, by the way, to this key as well. So they all connect through this one flex to this one receiver. So that's what those components are. As we explained in another one of our videos, we have some integrated circuit chips here as well. They're all protected with these metal casings, as you can see. They can be pried off after you remove this screw. They can be pried off here as well. Some circuits or some chips are soldered on there, so you have to desolder them and remove them that way. This is the battery receiver, which is on there pretty much the same way as these pads are. I call it the battery receiver. That can also be desoldered and resoldered as well. They sell them on Amazon. So you just really need a battery to connect right here. And if you keep disconnecting and reconnecting your battery, there's a small chance that this area can actually become damaged. In fact, I think this one might be a little bit damaged. So that being said, that can be removed with solder, and we'll also link a video on our micro soldering section as well on how to replace that micro component. Okay, so basically, now that you know how to disassemble a phone, we really want to focus in on identifying what all of these parts are as you disassemble them. Okay, so now that you've made it to this section, whenever you disassemble the phone, don't just disassemble it. As you're removing certain parts, identify them. Ask yourself, what is that? What is this? What is this? What is that? Why am I removing this? You know, like as you can see here, this is the charging port. Okay, so why, you know, as you remove it, don't just be a vegetable and remove it. Ask yourself, what is it? Why am I removing it? Here's the loudspeaker, as you can see. Again, so don't be a vegetable and just look at it. Identify them now. Okay, don't just disassemble them, but identify them as you're disassembling it. And ask yourself, what is this piece as you remove it? So here's just a really brief, I know it's super brief, but super brief overview of some of the micro parts, micro components of the iPhone 5C. I hope I got all of it. Again, that's the head jack, that's the volume, the home button receiver prongs, that's the charging port, that's the loudspeaker. These are some integrated chips. We have the battery receiving dock or pad. We also have the charging port pad right here, and both of these can be soldered and desoldered off. Once again, we have the power and volume button flex receiver right here. We have the LCD back camera, the front camera flex, which also comes with the loudspeaker microphone and a proximity sensor flex, and we also have the digitizer flex right here. So these are what these flexes are responsible for. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to see if there's anything even more micro than this that we can take apart. But that's about it for now. Please, if you have questions, like I said, it will really just take forever for me to go over every single tiny little part. I'm going over the ones that are most frequently damaged and need repair. I really feel there's no need for me to go over each part that you're never going to be touching anyways. But nevertheless, if you have any questions, again, we have electrical engineers on our team. We have computer engineers on our team. We have technicians like myself who've been repairing these things for 7 years. Whatever questions you have, don't hesitate to ask them in our question section. If there's a certain part on the phone that you were wondering, hey, what is that, just out of curiosity, ask us and we'll answer it. Okay? Participate. This isn't just a video where you're entertained, like I mentioned many times. We need you to be engaged, otherwise you're not going to learn anything. Okay, so participate, engage, be part of this course. It's designed for you to learn. Okay, so if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask, even if it's just simple curiosity, or if it's a more important, pertinent question that is going to help you in a certain repair. Don't hesitate to ask. Okay, any questions you have, please ask, and we're seriously, our whole team is here for you. We'll be more than happy to help. All right, thanks.